Okay.
When you're happy and you know, clap your hands. When you're happy and you know, clap your hands. When you're happy and you know, and you really want to show. When you're happy and you know, clap your hands. When you're happy and you know, snap your fingers. When you're happy and you know, snap your fingers. When you're happy and you know, and you really want to show. When you're happy and you know, snap your fingers. When you're happy and you know, say hello. Hello.
Hello.
When you're happy and you know, say hello. Hello.
Hello.
When you're happy and you know, and you really want to show. When you're happy and you know, say hello.
Hello.
Okay, last one. When you're happy and you know, tap your thighs. When you're happy and you know, tap your thighs. When you're happy and you know, and you really want to show. When you're happy and you know, your thighs. Yes, thank you so much. Hope you all enjoyed it. So, how you all?
That was a good one, yeah. Awesome.
Okay, good. So, how you all in this weekend? How was your day?
Fantastic. Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, you can show through your reaction.
Energy.
Energetic.
We'll clap your
Yes.
hands. Really happy.
New session today.
Okay, good. So, without any further delay, let's jump into today's book reading session. So, very good evening and a very warm welcome to one and all present here for today's book reading club. Okay, so hope you are all staying safe at home. And let us quickly start with the first session. So, I'll be hosting and timer will be taken care by Ramesh Shetty sir. So the countdown starts for this today's club. So we have wonderful 13 to 14 readers for today. So the first person who want to jump in is that we have Suresh in the list. So Suresh, welcome to the session. Are you there, Suresh?
Yes, I am here. Thank you, Vinita.
Yes. The stage is yours. And before starting that, my quick round of one thing you would like to do is that you have any tongue twister to share with us?
That's a tough one. I'm not that familiar with.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, yes, go ahead. You can start your reading with.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity. I have been reading many books over the period of time. Why? Start with why is what I covered this week. I thought let me share something that I have learned from here. It's a very, very good book if you really want to do something, and the clear message that gets conveyed in that is why are we here? Let me put a question back to you all. Why are we here assembling every Wednesday at 9 o'clock? That should be something that is driving us. And if you understand that why, and there is no other motivation required for anybody to come on board and learn and share. So identify why is very important for anybody. So in the whole process, what author talks about, it is all how our brain works. So brain is divided into three parts. The first two part, which is called limbic brain, what it works on a certain system within our limbic brain. And the last one is the third round or third circle, that is neocortex brain. Neocortex brain works on all these data, analytics and statistics and all those stuff. And the limbic brain, how and why are working on the principle of biology of human brain, which is a limbic in nature. So every human being have this ability to understand why and can develop how and what is the reason behind it. Whatever you're doing is need to be understood clearly. He gives an example with the pencil. If you really look at the center part, which is what is really important, that is why. A pencil is useful when its Y is exposed or when Y is out. So you sharpen your pencil, the lid comes out, and that is what you can use, and that is very important. So similarly in our golden circle, what he calls it across, that's first or inner circle, what our limbic brain works. That is what gives you an identity. All people, including people who are really successful in their achievement, are just behind why. So that is the reason why 99.9% of new startups or any companies fail, because they are staying away from why. They would have started with the why, but over a period of time, how and what would have taken the precedence, leaving why out. So, but however, the Steve Jobs, who is very famous for very, very clear, and it made him to be very successful. Similarly, Bill Gates. So he gives a lot of examples around it. If your why is so strong, and there is no failure, or there is no what I call it as falling or leaving out. So statistics is where neocortex brain works, and why is what it works, which is called golden circle within you. And with that, I am done with the information that I wanted to share from what I learned. Hope it will be helpful, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very wonderful talk. That was a wonderful talk started by you. Why? Yes, we should know the value of why. So as you said, if you know why is so strong, then there is no failure. We'll only get success in that life. So you wonderfully gave an example of pencil. Only when we know the value of why, then we'll know the value of what does it. Right? It happens. It is applicable in every part of our life. So you beautifully explained about two parts of brain, that is limbic brain and statistic brain. So whatever work we do or whatever steps we take in our life, so we have to make sure we should know why is that we are taking that. So that is really it is like really touching, and I think we should always apply this method in every aspect of our life. So that is a very good start from your end, sir. Thank you so much. So guys, you can encourage each and every participant by giving your valuable thoughts or words in the chat room. Okay. And next reader is Parul Sinha. Parul Sinha, welcome to the session. Are you there? No. Okay, next is we'll quickly move to Sunil Dange. Hi, Sunil, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
How are you, Sunil?
Great.
Okay, good to see you on this platform. So you can start. Do you have any tongue twister to share with us before you start reading your book?
Yeah. I have. Because I was just browsing the tongue twister, so I got so many. So okay. Out of that, I'm just picking one. So here is that. So 6 sleek swan swam swiftly southwards. It's really difficult to okay, so I will choose another one. Yeah, this one is good. So 12 twins twilled 12 twigs. So it's 12 twins twilled 12 twigs. I don't know how many of you can pick it. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good one. Thank you so much. And you can start your talk.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for this platform, and thank you for Sanjay sir for bringing and making this so far and being consistent in this self-transformation journey. So my name is Sunil Dange, and today I'm sharing the same book which I was reading from so many days. So No Limits, Blow Up the Cap of Your Capacity. So here I came across one chapter. The name of that chapter is God's Capacity. So my question to all of you, have you ever witnessed how and what can a God can do to us than we can do to ourselves? The question is very simple. Have you ever checked the God's capacity for your own sake? So if not, then here for you. So in Mother Teresa's word, Mother Teresa says that she quoted and he written in her book. So the most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. Here I want to repeat it. The most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. So the most wonderful joy is to have a relationship with God and experience its amazing love. So I'm really feel blessed because I got my God and I'm associated with him. So for all of you, in Tony Robbins' word, Tony Robbins says that where focus goes, energy flows. So if you are focusing on whatever happening in your life, what are the challenges which you are dealing with, and whatever the steps you are handling with. So all these are the things gifted by God to solve and bring a strong you. So whatever, so what is a perfectly normal? So what is a perfectly normal? Everything, whatever you are dealing, and every situation, the difficulty, the problem, the challenge which you are dealing right now, it may be seen that you are dealing with the most terrible thing in your life. You are unable to solve it, and you are not getting any hope in your life. But it's absolutely perfectly normal to have a bad relationship, to have a unhealthy situation, to have a laziness in your life, to have a quarrel with somebody, your family, in your spouse or somebody else anywhere, or to get broke, to stay in poverty. So everything is normal. So the message from God is that whatever you are dealing in your life is the gift, and that puzzle you have to solve for your own sake. So the biggest mystery is actually God want you to be healthy, to be successful, to be wealthy, and to be whatever you want to achieve and accomplish in your life. So with this, I just have few things to read out with you, and I want all of you to read it with limited time. So here is that sentences. God loves me. I want all of you to please go with me. God loves me. God loves you. God loves me. God loves you. God loves people I don't know. God loves people I don't know. God loves people I don't like. So God loves us not because we are lovable, but because he is love. So with this, thank you very much, and back to host.
Thank you so much, Sunil, for bringing us such a wonderful summary of that no limits. Yes, we have to understand the power of that Almighty, right? So it says that whatever we want, the universe conspires to us. So we have to believe in the power of God, right? Even we may not know what is His plan. So we should always have that, we should stay connected to our inner self, and we have to raise our conscious level so that we can solve any puzzle or any challenges we are facing. So nothing is permanent, or no problem or no situation will stay as we are in now. So if we trust in that God Almighty's power, so we can achieve anything and we can reach to greater heights in life. So that was a wonderful talk from your side. Sunilji, thank you so much. And let's quickly move on to the next speaker, Suhasini. Hi, Suhasini. Welcome to the session. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, yes. Hi, Vinita. Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I'm fine, Vinita. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. So are you ready with the tongue twister before you start reading your book?
Yeah. Tongue twister, which I was just remembering, that is, we shall overcome, no, not that. We shall surely see the sunshine soon.
Okay, that was meaningful.
That is a sentence. We shall surely see the sunshine soon. I still find it difficult to, say that. I always find to join those sunshine, whenever I join, but I keep saying that till I get perfect.
Okay, good one. Yes, you can.
Definitely, which means that we shall overcome. Yeah, we shall overcome any situation.
Okay, that was a good one. Yes, so Hasi, you can go ahead with presenting your book.
Yeah, surely, Vinita. Thank you so much. Okay, so hello everyone. I'll be presenting a chapter from Dale Carnegie book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. The chapter I've chosen today is Cooperate with the Inevitable. We know life isn't always calm seas and smooth sailing, right? By cooperating with the inevitable when dealing with the stressful or anxiety-inducing situations, we are able to maintain a clear and composed mindset, right? Not dwelling on those things which are beyond our reach. Basically, the author says that control the controllable and let go of the rest. I want to quote one example here. Let's say there is an employee to whom a company has asked to quit by serving notice period. Okay, the employee worries about his situation so much. He worries about his family, his future, and everything. And until he applied this principle of Carnegie, where he will cooperate with the inevitable and uses all of his energy to do some exemplary work in the organization, to which his superiors are mighty impressed, and they will retain him. This example says it all, right? Instead of wasting your energy on things which are not in your reach, waste that energy on yourself and your situation and bring the best out of it. That is what the author is emphasizing here. If we have to take 4 things that we can use from Carnegie's book and remind ourselves of this, and if we apply this principle in our life, then I think we definitely can cooperate with the inevitable and move on. I would like to quote those 4 points here. First one being determine what the worst possible outcome of the current situation might be. First, we need to determine what might be the worst outcome of all of this. Determine what you are prepared to do as a result of that outcome, what you can do to overcome that situation. Begin to work from that point and then build positive ground from there. Once you have determined, anything other than the worst possible outcome becomes bonus and a less work for you, right? So that is what these 4 principles says. If we apply, then definitely it'll you will see a great improvements, he says. Once you answer this question, what is the absolute worst that can happen? Well, if you are in such adverse situation, what is the worst thing that can happen? You begin to realize what you can realistically do about it. If there is nothing that can be done, you just put it aside and go on with your life. Basically cooperate with the inevitable, as the author puts it. Even in the simplest worrisome situation, this will greatly reduce your stress and help you to become more effective and efficient. But one has to practice it. This book is a wonderful book for me, and there are so many takeaways. It can help me to. I think I personally feel it for everyone. It can help to conquer worry, and it can help us to lead a wonderful life. Because worry, as psychologists and doctors say that it is the most stolid person to make any person ill. It worries. If you keep worrying throughout the day or throughout your situation, it can cause nervous breakdown. It can even cause to decay. Author has mentioned about all this. It can upset your stomach. It can higher your blood pressures and all that. So worry makes you tense and nervous and affect the nerves of your stomach, he says. So I would like to end my presentation with this below quote of the author, which I really liked and resonated so much with. So the quote goes like this: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah, with that, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you, everyone.
That was really a wonderful. Like it was very immersive. You know, when he was talking, we could literally see, experience that positive vibes. So as you said, that we have to control the controllable and let go of the rest. Yes, there are two parts. Like one is which will remain in our control and which will go out of our control. So we should make the wise usage of energy, right? So it is almost interconnected to the previous reader. He said that your focus goes where your energy flows, right? So since we have only this one life in our we have this one wonderful life, so we should be very cautious when we deal with our life, right? So instead of rather than concentrating on useless things, we have to just focus on wherever we can make our energy into productive one. So that was a really good takeaway from your end, Suhasini. So thank you so much for giving that positive vibes to the entire team. So thank you so much,
Thank you so much,
Suhasini.
Anita. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's move to the next reader in the list. So that is Tashin. Hi Tashin, good evening.
Good evening, Vinita.
How are you?
Doing great. I missed the session last week, so I'm excited.
Okay, that's good. So shall we start with
Yes,
the
yes.
tongue twister?
Oh yeah. I will only say one Hindi wala, okay? Pake ped par paka papita, paka ped ya paka papita. Okay, I think I got it right. I only knew this from a movie, I think. But yeah, that's what it is. And with that energy, I'm going to talk about The Creative Curve by Alan Gannett. I've been reading this book and for quite some time. I've been reading a lot of content on it. And just to recap what we have spoken, the creativity is all about inspiration and your energy or your ideas that you put into the existing inspirations that you have taken, and nothing is an original or quantifiable or quality of the idea that speaks about it. Speaks about the creativity of a person. It speaks about the ideas that you put into the existing inspirations that you have taken. And we spoke about three different things that actually matters a lot when you are building upon an idea. One is subject matter expert, how good are you with the domain? And the second one is the catalyst, which is a gatekeeper who actually helps you go to the next level or take it to the next level, take the idea to the next level. And the individual itself is the third factor, which is ourselves. If we have to implement, we have to actually persuade both the gatekeepers and the subject matter expert to ensure we take it to the right audiences. And the chapter that I was reading about, it talks about the familiarity versus novelty. So when you have a new idea, if a person is not very familiar about it, then there is no use. And if a person or if the individual or the audiences are not understanding the gist of it or gist of your idea, or not seeing any kind of value in what you are presenting, then there is no point. It has to reach the right audiences at the right time. Timing is a really important factor, and this chapter covers the timing bit of it, not just reaching out to the audiences. All this while we were talking about reaching out to the audiences, but reaching at the right time with the right content is also very important. Like there was an example which is given in the book about the name Lisa. In United States, it was a very famous name at a point in 1960s, and every other girl used to have this name Lisa. And after a point, it is like a bell curve. We all know bell curve, right? It goes to the sweet spot and then it reaches to the curve, highest peak, and then it just falls off. After a point, there were not many Lisas coming. It just because people got very familiar and it got very outdated, right? After a point, it is like, okay, you're not used to it now. I mean, we have too many Lisas now. Let's go to something new. So you have to always upgrade the idea as well. You cannot just leave it as is. It has to be there has to be an evolution to your ideas. Whatever you're bringing to the table, it has to actually move to the trends of the humans or move with the timings. And one of the classic examples we also spoke about is Campus Network versus Facebook. Campus Network was actually released 1 week before Facebook, and it had multiple features which Facebook has it today, was released in the first week of campus networks, but it failed miserably when Facebook came in after a week, and it just had 2 features. Facebook released it with just 2 features, only because as humans we are not very secure, right? When we have these kind of social platforms, we want to first ensure we feel secure and safe while using the platforms, and then go about go about exploring more or having more features on it once we feel secure about it. But campus network released it with a lot of options, which at that point of time in early 2000, early 2000s, it was not that great. It was not like humans were feeling very secure, or there was huge social network where people can connect and kind of things. So it was really important, and Facebook actually gained momentum only because it released two uh, uh, two different functionalities, and then it took to the next level when once everyone started feeling secure about it, started feeling secure about sharing their photographs or their events, their life achievements, or anything, any moments on it. And that's when it took out. And then there was also a phase where Instagram came into picture, and then Instagram took over a lot of other social networking sites, including Facebook. And what Facebook did smartly was to actually capture that market, right? It acquired Instagram, and it took that market as well. So it actually uh, grew along with the human evolutions. Wherever we were growing, it grew along with us. It didn't stop, and it still gets a lot of momentum, even with the backlash of newsrooms that it had, or even people using with that backlash of newsrooms, right? Even if there was a backlash on the newsroom application which was created on Facebook, still people were going using it for content. It's exactly it's exactly like creating the familiarity. Let people use it, let them understand and create the branding and get used to it. Once after people get used to it, there is no second thought about going back. We get used to certain things, we want to be on it, or we want to ensure that we are part of it. So that's how you create that's how your creativity also enhances, right? With humans or with the usage. So it's very important, the right timing to actually uh, reach the audiences, right audiences, to ensure your idea is visible and you create that branding of that particular idea. With that, I am done. Thank you so much.
Yes, very beautifully presented. It was so thoughtful, Tarshin. So as you said, right timing and right content will meet the right people. If you have to create a brand awareness, first you have to know what your audiences really want. What is that they can go for, and after that, when they really get familiar with whatever they are using, so then we can know what is actually they want, right? So creative is not just doing an art or performing dance. So it's all about thinking about ideas and thoughts you put in actually, if you have to create something. So you have given a very good example of Facebook, where we can understand how it is so important about content and the right time to reach the right audience, right? So very wonderfully presented, Tarshin. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
And
Vinita.
let's quickly move on to the next reader in the list. So it is Suman. Hi, Suman. She's here? No, I guess. Okay,
I
let us
think someone is not there. Yep.
Okay. Bashir Ahmad. Hi, sir. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Vinita. I am great. What about? Hope you all are doing well and safe.
Yes, we are all safe.
So coming to the tongue twister, so I have to do a lot of jumbling Google search before I joined. It was a very quick session for me after immediate logout. But I found one very interesting. Like she sells seashells by seashore. So this is very simple way I practiced it several times. Then I came to know it. There are both S and SH, both are silent. It's a tricky, but it was acceptable. Like I did not do it up to mark. I don't. Okay. Coming to the today's, like today I had put a particular topic on by Thomas Erickson, like surrounded by idiots. So when I started reading this book last 15 days back, it was something a different, unique approach. Today we know whether it is like Sam's an expert in relationship management, and there are many people who work in a corporate, in a team, group dynamics, everything. As an HR, there are many people. Most of the people we always fail because of lack of listening skills. So listening skill is an important part of life where most of the people, even an expert, will also totally get failed. So what here actually author is one of the best psycho personality who has developed a model called a DISA model. Based on his models, many corporate people have invited him for implementing it and understanding the personality traits and behavior, how they can improve the communication between the people, develop good teams. These all things are there in that chapter. So particularly coming to this first chapter of that, brief introductory part, what I can say, here he has recognized 4 important colors. One is red, yellow, green, and red, yellow, green, and another one color, red, yellow, green, and blue. So all these colors, for example, there are many colors in industry. When you go particularly production line, there are those color light pipelines there which indicate particular type of processing. So everything has got a meaning, or everything will give you some significance. So similarly here, author has formed a quadrant where he will give you DISA model. Particularly DISA is a particular model which I will explain in my upcoming week, how it's being implemented and how you can relate your core personality traits and behavior with one particular each and every color. So coming to quick introductory part, red particularly he has told they are more dominant people who want to dictatorship type approach. They don't listen to others, they're very aggressive in nature. Coming to yellow color people, they are very friendly in communication and they always find space to innovate themselves. And coming back to green, so they are the people who always very slow in change, but they have some space to bring some new ideas. This all. So similarly, other color I will be going to explain you. So coming to the important context, what I want to say is see, today majority of the people, if I took a survey of around I did just Google data. So out of that, whenever you find any relationship breakage or anything in the corporate because of grievances, fights, it is because of mutual lack of listening skills, because we always have an ego not to listen to this, because of our ego states or something. So listening is an important skill which we need to implement in every part of life, whether you are working, not working, that doesn't matter. What matters is first listen properly, which makes your understanding very clear about the people. So there are 2 situations only. Everyone, what author tells is that find very perfect. One is when we are alone inside a room. So we are very flexible or comfortable in listening to that one. Otherwise, for example, book club is a like-minded of people where we listen to one another because we all are having some perfect intention to sit here. So this is how different things will make you. So that is why it is always important to listen to others. So develop a listening habit so that it can eradicate 99% of the problem. Okay. And one important thing which I want to tell you is see, listening is something for example, Ratan Tata has told one thing. So nobody can make iron destroy except its rust. Similarly, nobody can destroy any human being except his listening skills. What I can relate it directly to you. So if you don't have listening patience, then nowhere we are going to get succeed. So simple. This is what I wanted to convey them. Say thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bashir Ahmed. It was a fantastic, what do you say, comparison of the life with what is that, iron. So we fail to communicate, which will greatly impact our relationship in our daily lifestyle. So may it be personal or professional life. So wherever we go, communication, so listening skills plays a very important role. So if we have to have a very good, peaceful life, so wherever it is, maybe your work life or professional life, we have to know how we have to just know the art of listening to others. So then the 99% of our complete problem will be solved. So thank you so much. That was really a wonderful talk from your end. So thank you so much, Bashir Ahmed, sir. So let us move to the next reader quickly. It is Ram. Hi, Ram. Good evening.
Hi, Vinita. Very good evening.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Hope you too.
Yes, sir. So can we move on to that tongue twister before you present your book?
Yeah. I was just trying to find some funny tongue twister. So I just found one. I'll just read that. Ice cream, ice cream. You scream, we all scream to have ice cream. Hope it was funny. Okay. So moving to topic, my today's topic is failing forward. One of the my favorite list. Whenever I feel down, I spend 5-10 minutes of time on reading this book. So failing is maybe we are hearing this from our childhood, from our parents, right? Failing is the first step of our success. So every successful, every genius person could have been failed, and it is a part of their life. Okay, so how do you come out of that failure, and how do you react to that failure? Here, what obstacles you have faced, you have gone through, that doesn't matter here. Okay, according to author John C. Maxwell, what matters is how you are looking towards the failure differently. That will leads to change your life, right? So there's one interesting quote here. Mistake become a failure when you respond them incorrectly. It has a lot of weightage. I'll just repeat it again. Mistakes become a failure when you respond them incorrectly. Okay, so if you browse through, there are so many successful entrepreneurs or businessmen. They are gone through one or other failures. A lot of failures. Today when they look at their success today, right? So if you would have heard the personality called Evan Williams. Anyone heard this personality, Evan Williams? He's a founder of Twitter, actually. Okay. He initially he developed the producosting platform. It also called as a Odos. But this platform is miserably failed off because of Apple. Just before he introduced in the market, Apple has announced that this Prodocost platform is going to launch along with iPhones. Okay, so he miserable failed, but today he is one of the successful businessman. Twitter, he's the owner of Twitter. Next example, Amazon, as you today he has one of the successful story, in the e-commerce platform. Okay, Jeff Bezos, he has failed several times on his ideas. One of the most notable idea failure was online auction site. Okay, but with that idea, he just got the transformation into Amazon. Our famous personality, or actor Amitabh Bachchan, during 2000 or 1990s, he has big list of failure. Okay, he was into big loss. He was totally into debt. But today he's one break through KBC, it has changed his life. And today his net worth is more than 3,000 crores. Right. Similarly, you would have heard of about Jack Ma. He is the owner of Alibaba. He mentioned in one of the interviews with one of the universities. He has failed more than 30. He was not more than 30 jobs. Okay, and even KFC, there are 23 people who are the interviewers, but all 22 people who have got selected, he was the only person who has got rejected. Right, so there are so many examples who are bounced back after miserable failure, right? So failing forward is, the books talks about how you react to the failure and how you look towards the failure and you come forward, right? So there are some interesting points here. Author is trying to comparison how average people thinks versus people who are success achiever people, right? I mean, it is a failing forward versus a failing backward. Failing backward, just to give a couple of examples. Failing backwards, people always blame others. but forward people will take a responsibility. Okay. Failing backward, always be repeating the same mistake, whereas failing forward will learn from the each mistake. Okay. Failing backward, they expect, or average people, they say that expecting never fail again. But success people, or achieve people, they say it will be failure is a part of success. They accept a tradition, whereas achieve people, they challenge the outdated environment, right? So quitting is very common with average people, but achieve people, they always will be preserving, right? So there are so many points to discuss, but time constraint, I'll just closing with one note here. Never say I'm a failure. Probably you can adopt in your day-to-day life. Never say I'm a failure. I failed at doing something. You can say, instead of I'm failure, you can say I failed at doing something. There's a big difference in these two statements. With this, over to host. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a really very awesome presentation from your end. Yes, see, failure is always a part of everybody's life. That should not affect our life. So we have to change our focus, and we have to change the perspective of how we look and how we react to the failure. So there is no failure so-called in our lives. It is only learning and growing. Yes, so you gave a wonderful difference between how people with one mindset thinks about a failure, and the other person on the other side who has that positive mindset will speak and take positively failure as a stepping stone for success. So yes, we have to inculcate this in our daily life. So we should never get worried if we are not able to succeed. Rather than if we only stop at there is no, if we have to try, keep on trying, that is a good you say that is a good cause. But if you stop saying no, then you are failed. So there is always a second chance to succeed, right? We should always keep on trying and trying, rather than we should never quit. Only we have to learn from our previous failure, and we have to step ahead. So thank you so much, Ramling. Sorry to interrupt. Yes. Tamara, you're ready? You would like to present?
Yes, I'm ready. I don't know what happened. Probably network fluctuation, I believe.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. What I was saying is the couple of things what I prepared, others already taken. So I gone for the other one. So I saw a kitten eating a chicken at a kitchen.
Nice, good one.
So today I'm continuing with the Think and Grow Rich book, the chapter 7th chapter. The chapter would be for organized planning. This chapter is has lots and lots of information. I'm just picking one thing which the author is talking about, the leadership. There are 11 qualities what author is defining leadership should have. So at least if in the current trend, at least if you have if you can't have everything, at least you understand what the quality of leaders. So at least you can try adapting those things to be a good leader. So unwavering courage. So being a leader, you should not make your followers to feel that you are dominating them. The way you are living, they should feel that they are admired and they should start following you. The second thing is the self-control. The person who cannot control himself can't control others. So the leaders, they have to live exemplary. So they have to control themselves properly. A keen sense of justice. There shouldn't be a biased or a different view. So if you're a leader, you should be having a clean and keen justice when you're representing in such positions. Then definiteness of the decision. So where we are traveling and what is our goal, you should be having a clear definiteness. Then there should be a clear plan. So if you start doing, or if you're a just guest player, probably some of them would be success through some luck or something, but that ship will not sail for a longer time. So you should have a clear plan where you are going and so on. Then habit of doing more things.
probably as a leader, you would be having a followers or your reportees. So you try to do more than what you are committed or what is being expected. And especially this works in the sales and other industry, but I don't know where and all it is possible. But as a leader, at least where you can't give a cash or something is there, but you try to see what else you can give it to the people as an extra. Then a pleasing personality. Don't be a rude or thing. Please be nice to people and be approachable. So people will come forward and can mingle and help you. It will be mutually good for both of you. And sympathy and understanding. So with every followers from your circle, have a sympathy and try to understand them in a personally. So you will not come to a short conclusion in case of some shortfalls or pitfalls. You don't need to come to a larger conclusion. So in what situation it happened? Is it in an intentional or is it where the problem? You just try to understand that. Don't jump into the conclusion immediately. Then mastery of the details. So when something is happening, you try to understand more things. This is continuation of the previous step. You try to get more details before taking any decision or come to a conclusion. Then willingness to assume full responsibility. Basically, the leaders will claim that this victory is because of me, but that's not the leadership. When something goes wrong, you take the ownership or a leadership. And when everything is going right, you give the credit to the team. So the team will do more and you will get more credit. And the cooperation. The person who can't coordinate with others can't be a good leader. So these are the 11 qualities what author is given. So when I was going through, I was thinking most of them we know, but are we following in all the places really? By knowingly, we don't follow. So if we start implementing them, if now out of 11, the author is not saying in this, out of 11, if you start if you have a quality of 5 or 6 itself, you are already a good leader. If you have a 11 out of 11, you will be a great leader. So start adapting to these policies and try to become your leaders. So we all are leaders here, I believe. So we can have increase our grid to at least 1 notch above. With that, I am back to host.
Thank you so much, Tamra. It was really wonderful presentation from your end. Yes, you gave us a very beautiful point that a leader should possess, right? So leaders are not born; they are all made. See, leader is one who knows the way and he goes the way, or she or he shows the way. As Sadhguru says that integrity, insight, and inclusiveness. So these are all the 3 essential qualities of one leader should possess. So you have given us that yes, a leader should be proactive. He should take responsibility. He should be 1 step ahead. He should be good in decision making. Yes, I think these are all necessary before we become a leader. Yes. So leadership is not an action. It is not just a position. It is an action, right? Thank you so much, Tarshan. It was Tamrai. Very good presentation from your end. And next is Sai Kumar. Hi, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
So how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Yes. Are you ready for presenting your tongue twister and the presentation of the book?
Yeah, tongue twister I have learned long back. That is, I have got by heart at that. So I'll be sharing the same thing.
Sure.
And regarding my book, I didn't prepare much because of this gamification. Only I'm forced to join this session today.
Okay.
So if there are any mistakes from my side, just please kindly ignore for this time. And from the next week, I'll be preparing thoroughly for the presentation. Yeah. Betty bought the butter and the butter was bitter and Betty made bitter butter better.
Good one. Yes.
I learned this long back from past 6 years back. I learned. I by heart at this tongue twister.
Good one.
And coming to my book, I read this Life's Amazing Secrets by written by Guru Gopal Das, and in this first chapter he described that forgetting the keys to the happiness. It is like first of all, we'll be always busy in our targets, like day-to-day targets in professional things like achieving goals and acquiring some physical things like vehicles or whatever the targets which we have. And but in busy of achieving all those things, we are just forgetting that to be happy. Like most of the people these days are working just only to get the money, and most of the people are not happy with their work. And actually we need to pull out some time to be happy. Like some people will be happy in chatting with friends, or else some by doing workouts, or some by playing games and all those things. So we should pull out some time for being happy, and we should take care of ourselves first of all. And that is the thing which he described in the first chapter. And second chapter is about there will be always harder and tough situations behind every person who is smiling. So if there is any situation, like we should never judge anyone by just looking upon their habits or whatever they are doing. There might be a lot of struggles which is struggling in the back end, which we cannot view, and we should not immediately make a decision, and we should not judge the person by the things which he is doing. So this is from my side. Over to you. And thanks, Sam, for joining me into this group actually.
Yes, it was really amazing talk. It was good. It was a very good presentation from your end. See, nobody knows what struggle we have gone through, right? We'll mix up happiness and work together. So we should always see forgetfulness is also a boon when it comes to forget whatever pain we have in our life. So as you said, yes, we should never judge anyone by their outlook. Say we know about iceberg model. See, we can see the outlook. What is that? We can only know what the success they have got, but we'll never know what actually hardships they have faced. So rather than judging the people, we should try and understand what is that actually they have gone through in their life, right? So that was beautifully presented from your end, and thank you so much, Sai Kumar. Good one, and I loved your tongue twister. Good one. So, sir, over to you. Next is Samjush sir is on the next list. Sir, you're on mute.
I think I was on mute. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay, guys. So you guys are still happy or no? If you're happy, again, you have to clap it actually. If you're happy and you know, one more time. Clap it. Okay, good stuff. I'm also excited now. So I think so Wednesday evening is one time where I'm always excited. So I want to tell so many things, but taking time into consideration, let me finish it first. So I have a very good tongue twister yesterday or morning when I saw Vinuta's message. I remembered this, tongue twister, but I did not know exactly what was a complete tongue twister. This is a tongue twister by John C. Maxwell. It is not funny, but it is it has a lot of information on that. I'll paste it in the chat for your, information, but I'll tell you also what it is. Before that, I'll read it out. Yeah, the tongue twister goes in this way. He who knows not, he knows not, he is a fool, shun him. He who knows not and he knows not, he is simple, teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows, he is asleep, awaken him. If he knows and knows that he knows, he is wise, follow him. So this is what the tongue twister is. So I'll put it in the chat. It's amazing one, which I've read from John C. Maxwell in one of his book. So it makes sense to you. Yeah, you can copy paste it if you want. Okay, so coming back to my topic, what I was talking about last week, I was covering again a couple of weeks. I'm covering about the psycho-cybernetics, again about the human brain. So last week I covered about the conditioning of brain actually, is how our brains are conditioned to unconscious things, what we do on a daily basis. Probably a phone is ringing and although you're relaxing, you just get up and go and pick the phone or reply to the Facebook or WhatsApp, whatever. Right now, the next question is how do we, make ourselves from that conditioning bit, where how we can come out of that actually. Probably if you're anger, if you're pressurized, if you're stressed, whatever would you there. So I think most of them have heard about this, something called as tranquilizers. Have you heard about this? In the zoo, and for the animals, they use it normally, they cook it. See what happens with the tranquilizers. So example, if some animal is acting in a very weird way, right? Or maybe it is jumping and is trying to do, there is a external disturbance still there, but when the tranquilizer hit the animal, so it calms down. It's not that external turbulence is changed. only his internal nervous system is going down. That is what is happening. External things are still going around there, and the tranquilizer is putting that nervous system actually. So basically bringing down a nervous system to down so that it did not act the way it is acting. So now the question is, how does it happen in the human being also? In human being also, we can make sure that you can tranquilize yourself. Basically, you can put your nervous system down a little bit so that we can white actually. So a couple of things the author has given here. So what we can do about it? One thing is making a quiet room in your brain actually. So creating a quiet room where you can be quiet. So in the sense, that is a room where you have to go in whenever you're pressurized or you're stressed out, go there and relax for some time, to take care of that quiet room. So we need to create the compartment. I think Suresh was talking about the limbic brain and other thing in the starting actually. So just like that, there are a lot of compartments. So probably the compartment of family, compartment of work, compartment of vacation, compartment of money, compartment of whatever it is, right? So probably we need to go into the quiet room compartment and relax there for some time so that you can become calm, right? And also you can call it as your own decompression chamber as well. Create a decompression chamber in your mind so that you go there and relax it for some time. Another thing what you can do is, now what man or woman requires, what does human being requires when they are stressed out, or maybe they are not able to work continuously for 2-3 months. What they want is a vacation. I want to go for a vacation, right? Vacation, take a vacation for 5 days vacation, and they'll come back and say, okay, now I am energized to go back to work actually, right? So what author says is, why don't you take a short vacation every day? So why can't you take like 10 minutes vacation every day? Go into your vacation mode, right? But whatever vacation mode is, you relax it. Don't do anything. Just sit silent. Just like Sadhguru says, just sit simply. Just sit simply. Don't do anything. Don't think about anything. Just sit there. So take a vacation every day, which brings down your nervous system a little bit calm, so that you can take more pressure and work towards what you want to achieve in your life. So I want to take put this one of the small story, or maybe one of the small theory which I heard sometime back from one of the author person called as, I don't know what was his name, I forgot that actually, I just remembered that. So he wrote this theory called as baggage theory. I don't know whether you can check in the Google, probably you'll get it. So what he says is, if you want, before you taking up a new problem, you bring down, your mechanism should leave the old problem aside before you take up a new problem. What exactly says is, the example, you think about you're going to an office, right? So you should have an imaginative or probably an imaginative baggage what you have it actually. So what you do is, you go to office, you go to the security, and probably you had a fight with your wife at home. I don't know what can happen, probably maybe a traffic jam, you had a fight or whatever, you're going to office and near to the security. Once you reach the office security, what you have to do is, according to the baggage theory, so imaginatively, probably, from your mind, you're telling, okay, all my anger, I'm telling the security, hey, security, there is a bag, put all my anger, frustration, everything in the bag. I've backed it and said, I'll keep it with you. I will come back and take it in the evening, right? So he'll keep it there and he'll go into the office. Now, the entire anger, everything, whatever we had is in security place. He's not taking inside his office. So he goes his work and does it. And when he comes back, he says that, okay, now I don't want your bag because I already, came out of that baggage theory. You can put it in the probably shred it or whatever you do it, right? Now you're going home. So now you're going home. When you reach the home gate or maybe a door, so imaginatively you tell the security, hey, security, I had so many things there now from the office. I'm putting in the bag and picking it up, tie it up and put it near the door and say, I'm now entering the home. So I don't have anything in my mind now. So I'm clear, so that I can have a good time with my family and things like that. So when you come out of next day, so now that frustration from the office is gone. So you don't have to really take that baggage and go back to office. But in case in between, if you had any baggage from, maybe it can be genuine baggages, maybe you have some financial problems or maybe health problems, whatever, but tie it on, keep it there and do that. So use that baggage theory wherever you go. Leave your old problems before you get into a new problem, so that you can give that best out of from your brain actually. Because what author says is, human being has potential to do everything in their life. The brain is capable of doing so many things, millions and millions of things at a time, but only few people can use it. People cannot use it. So people are using it at least 5 to 6%, probably 1 to 2. I don't know. There is a saying that Newton used only 1% of his brain or 2%. I vaguely remember that. So probably if you use a little more than that, actually, probably we can be genius there, right? So that is what I want to cover. Vinita, thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, sir. It was
So-
it was really amazing. So no words to say that. Yes, certain times we always not certain times, most of the times we tend to carry our baggages of our past to the future, and we lose that happiness. We lose that consciousness of being in this moment. So what we should know is that life is a journey. Yes, it is a good journey, and we. How much ever less baggage we carry, so much of our life, that is our life ride, will be so much of easy, right? So, and also it is like a tranquilizer, very well said. Yes, for me, accordingly, laughter is the best tranquilizer I can suggest, because it has no side effects, right? So we have to empty our mind, whichever it is carrying the baggage, and we have to come up with the open mind, and we have to come up with that what you can say, a travel bag. Instead of having a baggage, we should have that memory for your travel bag, right? So we have to keep aside the baggages which we are carrying, and in order to be happy, that is, we have to calm our hectic mind in order to move on. So very well points and nuggets from your end, sir. Thank you so much. And finally is Prafulla ma'am, are you there?
Yeah.
We have
Hi, ma'am.
Parul also. Maybe after Prafulla you can get her.
Yeah, sure, sir. Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Hello, everyone. Good
How are
evening.
you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. So without any further delay, can we start with the tongue twister and your book presentation, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. I was ready with that Betty bought some butter, so I thought I'll present one Kannada tongue twister. Sampangappana maga, Mari Sampangappa, Mari Sappangappana appa, Sampangappa. Okay, this is what I learned way. I think as kids we would have heard it. So this is a short one. So to start with the topic of what I'm going to present, it's in continuation with what Sam presented. What are the thoughts what we hold in our mind. So I'm presenting one of the story from Solve Your Problems, the Birbal way. So there is a kind of a story between Akbar and Birbal. The topic is conquest of the mind. So Akbar, there was a phase where the King Akbar was going through a kind of depression. So nobody could identify what was the reason behind his this phase of depression. So many people, his family people were trying to analyze it, and the people from his court ministers were trying to analyze it. None were able to identify. What Birbal did was, then they said that why don't Birbal try to find out what is the reason why Akbar is not as cheerful and handling things with zeal, just like as he was otherwise. So what he identifies in his routine is that Akbar is been eating the same kind of lunch, breakfast and dinner throughout a couple of months. He has an habit, if he likes something, he will have the same thing throughout, like for many months and many months. So that was one thing what Birbal observed, and because of that, he had lost interest in eating the most liked food what he used to have also. So he says that okay, this is a problem. Even Akbar realizes that, and then he says, Birbal, what can you and how can you help me to get over this boredom? So Birbal goes to his kitchen and talks to the cook there, and he finds out what are the things that Akbar has not had it in the recent past. Then he finds out how about brinjal, having brinjal for his breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So what happens is the cook starts cooking brinjal kind of varieties of brinjal for all of his 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Over the period of time, even that food becomes very boring for Akbar, and he gets very angry and furious about this suggestion from Birbal, and he says that how could you not give me a very good solution that I'm bored about it, just like the previous one. So Birbal takes some time, and he takes that courage to speak out the truth, says that there is no problem with the food what you are having. It is a problem with the thought what you're having. So leave away that thought of that, oh, you're getting bored with this. And he also says that when you like something, it is not that you need to have it every day. Have a variety of stuff every day in your meals or anything. Maybe it is a work in the life or the daily routine, so that you will feel more interested in your daily routine and discipline. That is what the take away from this. And there is also a management lesson, a kind of giveaway from this. So if there is a victory, or he says this, if you like something, it's a kind of victory or something. It's not that you need to have this every time and all the while. You need to have variety in your life and not stick to the same routine, same discipline. You need to have the diversity in whatever you are doing. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prafulla ma'am. Yes, I agree with your point. That is like, if our life is monotonous, it will be too boring. We have to find diversification. Yes, the book you presented is about the solve your problem. The Bible. It was like you all know that he's the Akbar's wisest courtier. He got. He was giving a solution for every problem with his humor mixed. So that is one thing, is that as you said, the problem actually lies in our thoughts. So if we change our mindset and if we change our thoughts, actually we can solve any kind of problem in a simpler manner, right? So we have to make our life easier rather than making it difficult by always thinking in a negative way. So we have to find the other angle of solving the problem. So this was this was the wonderful presentation from Prafulla ma'am. Thank you so much. And the next speaker is Parul. Hi Parul, good evening. Welcome to the stage.
Yeah, hi, good evening everyone. Thank you so much, Vinuta. I'm sorry late because of a medical emergency today. I joined late. I'm so sorry for that.
No worries. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will be sharing today. Okay, for the tongue twister. So which we remember since so many days. It just comes in my mind is she sells seashells on the seashore. So it's a small twin tongue twister. I taught to my daughter, that's why I remember. So that's why I'm just sharing with you all. Okay, so the book which I'm trying to share today is The Human Revolution. Human Revolution is a book written by Daisaku Ikeda. He is a founder and president of Soka Gakkai, president of India, of all over the world. He actually practiced this Lotus Sutra, okay, where he's followed this Buddhism philosophy, which says that we are the Buddha and we are the Bodhisattva on this earth. He's trying to encourage every Buddha. So we all as a human are Buddha on this earth, and we have to achieve the Bodhi enlightenment. And how will we achieve? So by following his values and virtues and inculcating those his values by reading this book, it says human revolution. It means the actions, the do's and don'ts which we do done by the humans is revoluted in a form of a karma. That is where he's trying to tell all of us, and he's trying to emphasize on this. I'll just share some points in the form of the book, that he's trying to tell us, follow the karma. What we are doing, follow that, first thing. Second thing, there is nothing that you cannot do it. Everything is possible if you try doing it. Then third is that we have to do self-transformation every now and then. How can we do? So basically, Human Revolution says that the inner transformation, the self-transformation is very much required at every stages of life. That is what he's trying to emphasize over here. Then how will we do it? So in our life, we face a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges and problems, but we sometimes get panic. Sometimes we are able to hold over it. Sometimes we are able to overcome those things. But how we are going to all those things? So this is what all we have to achieve. There is no one who will come and help you in achieving or overcoming your own difficulties. It is the one who is you. You have to handle your every single problem on your own. You have to manage, you have to plan, you have to execute it. So this is how the Human Revolution gets into a picture and revolute the entire system of your human behavior. That is where karma comes in the picture again. So what karma says doesn't mean that karma is like what you're doing. Okay, just think like that, that what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're for the others, for yourself, these are all are making a full cluster of good things in your life. So just when we are doing something, let's see how we are doing, how we are following a karma, what we are doing to generate a good karma. Like for example, we have a bank account, we have Axis Bank, we have ICICI Bank, we have State Bank, so many bank accounts we have, right? Same way in our life we have so many bank accounts of good account, good karma and bad karma. For example, you are doing a lot of good things in your life, like helping other people, managing your house and family, your parents, managing everything. You're managing every single thing, but one small mistake can ruin all these good things in your life, right? Same way this is the same thing as you are collecting all the good monies in your life as form of good karma in your bank account. The moment you jump into or doing something wrong in your life, for example, wrong, it doesn't mean that some bad activity or bad things. It means that somewhere we got diverted and you generated a bad karma. There your bank account balance start getting reducing, right? Then and there, this is what karma and the bank balance is linked with each other. And henceforth I would like to conclude over here that let's all create a good karma so as to generate a good bank account. So we all like that if a bank account is full with good money, we are very happy, right? The moment we start spending money, we are oh my god, again we spend 10,000 rupees in a month. What we do, right? So let's not do that. Same way inculcate those things in our life also to generate good karma and follow good things and good rules, whereas to get a happier life and healthier life. Thank you so much, Vinita.
Thank you so much, Parul. It was really so thoughtful about your presentation. So yes, karma has no menu. So you will get served for what we deserve, right? So as you said, like we have to handle all our pain, success, and tension. So we have to follow our karma, and there's nothing impossible, as you say. And we have to have that inner transformation rather than outer transformation. So like no matter how much hard things things seems to be at the beginning, but make sure if you're putting your all good effort, and if you're having that good thoughts or good wishes from your end, then everything is possible. So as you sow, so you reap, right? So if you're doing good, so good things will come back to you. So that is our time, and karma is very much important in our life. So we have to be good and do good. So thank you so much for your wonderful talk, Prafulla. So good to see you in the session. Sorry, Parul. Thank you so much. I'm confused with the name. Thank you so much, sir. And over to you, Sam, sir. And I would like to tell, I am not going to present anything. So I'm very much fond of this tongue twister. Even Sai Kumar, someone said, so it is like, I'll tell it quickly. So Bitty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter. Bitty bought some bitter butter to make the bitter butter better. And in Kannada, there is one tongue twister. Arali maradode talirode deredele hudugi kedisidalele hudugana tale. So that was about the tongue twister here. Thank you so much, and over to Sam, sir.
Good one, good. It was a great start, Vinita, with a good song and tongue twister, everything good. So, guys, I've added the form in the chat. I'll give you 2 minutes time, everybody to fill. I think some of them have filled it, some of them are not filled it. I can see only 5 to 6 forms filled. That's it. Right, 28. So can you quickly do that? I'll give you 2 minutes time before you leave. Quickly go ahead and put your this one. Put your ratings and put your son quickly. 2 minutes time before you end. 22:18. Quickly, I think you want me to paste again that one. I can paste it again. I'll not put this in the group because this is only for the people who are attending, not for the people in the group, because we have 85 people. I don't want to share it with the group. So that's why I'm putting it in the chat so that we can fill it now. So this will serve your attendance as well. If you're not filling, you will be marked absent in the book club. So you should be filling it. It's mandatory for you to fill it. I can see some more coming in. So I'll give you 1 more minute quickly. It's almost time. Right, so some more responses are coming. Okay, good coming. I think I have to give 2-3 books actually. Great comments are coming, and I'm happy.
Do we have a tiebreaker for this?
Huh?
Do we have a tiebreaker?
Yeah, we will. No, well, maybe do. Still do it, no problems. So everybody done? So okay, guys. So last information, or maybe just one thing I want to share is, see, nothing wrong. No, we are doing in the group actually, but we are doing good things in the group. So my suggestion, okay, probably some of them are putting some of the links from maybe the YouTube and probably Sadhguru or some speakers actually coming up here. And I know because it's available in the Google. So, but what I wanted to know is what you guys are doing. Like example, now I think Suresh started. Now he writes up blogs and putting it in. I put some videos sometimes. So in case if you're reading and if you're doing something different, put it in the group. So we want to know about you. I know about Abdul Kalam. I know about Ambani. I know about Sadhguru. I know what I would do. So more interested is about you. So what you guys are doing, because see, I can connect to you or you can connect to me rather than connecting it to Sadhguru or maybe Tesla's owner, whoever it is, right? So you cannot connect to them because they are completely successful now. They have come out of that. So people who are like you and me can connect each other. So if somebody, for example, if Sunil is doing good things, so probably I'll get inspired. Probably Vinita is doing something, right? Before I am doing something, maybe other person gets inspired. So what we want to put in the group is like what I am doing. Okay, probably I'm doing reading a book. If you're really reading a book, just take a WhatsApp. I don't know, it may take like 1 minute. Hey guys, I'm reading this, was amazing quote on this, just like that. That's it. 2 minutes job, or maybe like 1 minute job. That's it. Or maybe if you write in a blog, or maybe something you put it in the Facebook, just copy paste it or take a screenshot and put it there. So it will be helpful for us to understand what you guys are doing. That's a small suggestion. Probably we can keep that book lively. You don't have to put every day also. Maybe 2 people put on 2-3 people in one day, or next day some 3 people puts in. So at least that lively will be there rather than we just copy pasting somebody else's YouTube things and all. But if it's really interesting, do that. I'm not against it, but I'm telling if we can do from ourselves, it will be more interesting for us actually to know. Okay, if Tyson is doing something, I'll be like, oh, Tyson did something. Oh my God, yeah, we need to look into it. What Tyson has written, or maybe what video is it about Tyson's. So that is what I want to know. So because I think most of them would have gone through Suresh's this one, right? So the LinkedIn post, what they have, because you want to know somebody in my group has written something. Let me look into it. What is he rating, right? But probably if I put Sadhguru's video, you may not, half of them may not watch it because I know because they're already watching so many things in the YouTube. So what is specific in the new video what I've posted there? Okay, that's it from my end. So I think we're already shooted up 21 minutes, more than 21 minutes extra. Right. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for joining on time and inspiring others. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well done, Vinita. If you're happy again, clap it again.
Yeah, that's why I'm clapping. Thank you, Vinita.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Good night, all.